I just came back from a funeral for the man that I consider my father. On March 22nd at 4 p.m., my father was talking to my mother in a rehab facility. He started coughing and then he fell over dead. The people at the facility spent the next hour trying to revive him. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Now, when I think back, it's kind of funny. I've known him longer than I knew my own biological father. But I remember the first time I saw him, it was before I even met my um, real father. James Young Sr. was a great man. He was one of 12 children, the seventh. By the time he was 10 years old, he was blind, completely blind from cancer, but he never let that stop him. Heck, um, from what I've been told, for years he didn't even use a cane or a seeing eye dog. He just listened to the surroundings and just let the sounds of his surroundings guide him. You could say that he was kind of like Daredevil, except without having to get hit with tons of nuclear radiation. Of all the 12 children that his mother and father had, he was the only one that actually went to college and completed. He had a bachelor's in education and he specialized in children's psychology. Just about anything he wanted to do, he was able to set his mind to it and do it. He even became a musician. I remember a story he used to say when he was about 18 years old, he decided that he wanted to join the army, and the army said, "No, we don't take. What are you doing? You don't take blind people." He said, "Look, I'll do anything. I'll even cut potatoes. I'll do anything." Another story I remember hearing him say is, he was born in 1945, and by the time he was like a teenager, where the whole segregation thing was going on, and they were starting to integrate into schools. Well, by this time, he was already totally blind, and he ran into some white kids that were being racist and everything, and he picked up a desk and threw it at the kids. And they really stopped messing with him at that point, because anyone who's willing to is blind and is willing to throw an entire desk at you is capable of anything, and he was capable of anything. If I'm honest and I look at myself and my personality, I notice that I have a lot of I've gained a lot of qualities from him. He's laid back, but he was also outgoing. Well, I'm not outgoing, but I am pretty laid back. Also, I'm a hard worker, and he was always a hard worker, and I always admired that about him. And he always instilled in me the sense of hard work. And if I have a problem or financial issue, to find a way to work through it, to achieve it. For example, he always loved music, and he loved different kinds of music. And I think that's how I also developed my, let's say, eclectic sense of music. I remember as a kid, I would hear R&B, I would hear even reggae sometimes. The only music he didn't seem to like was probably like heavy metal or rap. But he had a real intense passion for music. He even became a musician, and I knew him more as playing the saxophone. And he played on different albums in the background. He played for uh, Billy Stewart and Quincy Jones and some others. Because I remember as a little kid, he even bought a record and he had us turn turn the record over, and his name was right there. And I have a passion in art, and have had that passion since a little bit he before I met him, and I still have that passion today, and I'm still working hard at it. And I I owe a lot of that to him and my mom. And even though I failed countless times in art, I still go at it with the same gusto that he went at anything he wanted in his life. Another thing that I really admired about him was his sharp mind. Over the last few years, he had a stroke, and that really affected his body, and he was always in and out of hospitals, but he always kept his sense of humor, and he was always sharp. That never dulled. I last visited him the Wednesday or Thursday before last, and this past Saturday he passed away. It's odd because before about a couple hours before I found out that he had died, I actually had a dream. He was he was back home with my mom, and he was up and about and doing everything. And then, after about an hour after I woke up, my mom, and my older brother came by and told me that he had passed away. Even though he and my mom said that they were proud of me, I still have some regrets. Um, he always loved fishing, bowling, and traveling and things like that. And um, I I just hope that he will get better, and then I can go on a fishing trip with him because I never did that. And that's one thing I regret. Another thing I regret is um, at some point I want to get married, and he's never now going to go to my wedding, or if I have kids, he's never going to see them grow up. So from this point on, I've decided that I'm going to try to do something greater with my life. I'm going to try and make a difference. I'm going to try to be a better son, brother, and uncle. I miss him.